Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. We are live from Xi'an, China for the World Cyber Games 2019. It has been a long and eventful day, and now it's time to end it with some more Honor of Kings action. My name is Jump. I'm joined here by the delightful Sui, and we have gotten to see all sorts of amazingness coming from WCG thus far.
Yeah, all these countries have come together here to compete for the gold prize here. $80,000 goes to the winner, and I can't wait to get these matches started.
$80,000 to the winner out of a $140,000 prize pool. If you had an opportunity to watch the delight that was the opening ceremony, we got to see everything from dancing projections to the flags, but more importantly, the home crowd here in China celebrating their flag and the players not representing just their team, but the countries themselves.
Yeah, they're definitely playing for their country, so a lot is on the line. All of the teams have competed in the qualifiers or placed extremely well in their respective regions to earn their right to be here and compete on such an international stage such as the World Cyber Games. So we're going to see how these teams will match up against the juggernauts that are China.
You have teams that are descending from all parts of the world. Specifically for Honor of Kings, of course, we have the awesomeness that is 10 teams coming across everything. And for what we have today and what we have over the course of the next 4 days, of course, is those 10 teams from around the world are competing in 2 groups in a single round-robin match. At the end of those best of 3s for today and tomorrow, they will then compete in a top 4 single elimination match to the grand finals on Sunday. And as we mentioned, $140,000 of a prize pool, $80,000 going to first place.
Yeah, and it's absolutely critical to get the wins here in this best of 3 group stage here, because you get 3 points and you lose nothing.
Nothing indeed. Now, we got to talk, of course, about some of the teams that we do have competing, as there are some delightful ones indeed. We have 4 teams coming out of China, 2 teams from Europe, 2 teams from Brazil, a Malaysian and a United States team. Now, first up, it will be China versus Malaysia, or Dteam versus M8HEXA.
Yeah, there we go. You can see their M8HEXA and the Dteam. They went and blazed through their qualifiers, 2-0ing almost every single team to make it here. You can see they're shaking hands and passing the flags to each other as a sign of sportsmanship. And MXH, the team from Malaysia, has placed first at the Valor Cup recently in March 2019. So they're here to play well for their country.
Dteam had 7 rounds of play in their regional finals. They played 7 best of 3s, and they only had to go to a map 3 once. So it was a total of 17 out of the potential 21 games that they were only able to play, demolishing their opponents in KSSC, which is another team that is participating today. But they are going up against a Malaysian team that is no uncommon factor when it comes to Honor of Kings.
Yeah, and I got some experience with the Malaysia team, actually.
Yep.
Back at the Beijing International Honor of Kings Championship Cup. They placed in the top 16th there from Malaysia. So they have experience with this game. They know what to expect against the Chinese competition. So I think they'll be prepared, but it's still going to be an uphill battle.
It's going to be an uphill battle indeed, as they are going up against the #1 team from the regional qualifiers. And they've also got the home crowd here in Xi'an that they're going to be competing against as well. When we were watching the open ceremonies, I was standing next to you, Jeff, and we were saying, all right, when's the China flag going to come out? It was the last flag to take the stage, and it was the loudest roars of the fans that are here to support their home country.
Yeah, they definitely have the support from the fans here of Xi'an, and this team is going to look to make this quick and show their dominance.
USA, Fandi, Xiaoma, Kuku, and Xiaomu are ready to rock things across the board for Honor of Kings. Now, as we mentioned, of course, we are playing Honor of Kings. It's not Arena of Valor that you're used to seeing us casting everybody, but it's still going to be an exciting one indeed with the vibrant game that exists today.
Yeah, Arena of Valor is also known as Honor of Kings International, so both games are very similar. There's going to be a few little differences here that we'll be able to highlight as we talk through the cast with you guys. But look at the players. They look confident. They are smiling, and they're ready to perform.
It's been a long day for them, waiting around, making sure that their games are had it. Everyone knows, everyone's aware of. We had a couple network issues a little bit earlier, but those have been fixed, and now teams are not only here on the game sports stage, but in the tournament zone, making sure that they play as much and as often as possible, as we do still have fans here. It is currently 9:24 local time in Xi'an, China, and there are still fans aplenty around both of the halls here to support the esports life.
Yeah, and the seats are pretty packed, so they're excited. You can see M8HEXA here, Mike, Guang, Xuan, Jun, and ST Young. They have experience. They played in the Beijing International Champions Cup back in 2018, back in August, and they have placed very well in all their Arena of Valor competitions as well.
Now, we're going to be getting ourselves into lobby in just a second, but Jeff, let's talk a little bit and educate the ones that are wanting to actually get into the match and talk about Honor of Kings specifically. Remember, everyone, because this is the Chinese version, there's a lot of things that you haven't seen before, and all of the things that you know about Arena of Valor, there are some similarities, but there is still a lot of differences with everything that exists with Honor of Kings.
Good news, there's still 3 lanes. There's still a jungle.
It's still a MOBA. It's still a MOBA, but it is a lot of differences and a lot of powerful abilities that all of these heroes are bringing to the table.
So one thing is, it's not as snowbally, I would say, compared to Arena of Valor. This game, there's no Spirit Sentinel. There is still definitely the dragon, which is called the Tyrant in this game, and it turns into the Dark Tyrant versus the Enraged Dragon in Arena of Valor. There's no Abyssal Stone being dropped there, and the Dark Slayer, or AKA in Honor of Kings, it is called the Overlord. They spawn every 5 minutes, so a lot of similarities, but just minute differences.
And we talked a lot about this earlier in the day when we kind of were able to open the show up on the main stage, in that there are a little bit of differences, but there are a lot of similarities that especially our international teams will be able to bring to the table, specifically with the mechanical prowess, because something very special about Honor of Kings is when the carries get the gold, when the carries get the items, things get deleted and they get hurt pretty quick.
Yeah, and some of the heroes that are popular in Arena of Valor are still popular actually in Honor of Kings, so the meta are actually a little similar. For example, Valheim was very strong in the meta, and Valheim is the Ranger in Honor of Kings, and he is a contested pick in the side lane ADC meta that we see. And the thing about Honor of Kings that I love is you can pick an early assassin meta, a late assassin, ADC with a warrior jungle. There's a lot of interesting styles to play here.
Now, not only do you have a lot of interesting styles, but those styles can be switched up between the lanes. This isn't as static of a game like we saw in Arena of Valor. You have a lot of different characters that can go in different lanes, but more importantly, you have versatility in the players, which, as we can see consistently going across the screen, both Dteam as well as M8HEXA here have the opportunity and the ability to be versatile, which is what is going to happen in a best of 3.
Yeah, and that's what M8HEXA has to watch out for. That's actually one of their weaknesses back in the 2018 Beijing International Championship that I was able to see and actually compete and scrim against this team as well. They need to watch their early game, because China, they're going to push to get that tier 1 tower within the first 3 minutes, and that ADC is going to get fed, farmed up, and then it's going to swap the lane to the opposite map and then take another tier 1 tower within the next minute or 2 minutes. So that's something they have to be careful of to be able to last against the China team.
There's a lot of opportunities, of course, with both of these teams, but when you think about something like a mobile title, such as Honor of Kings, and a lot of relation as well to Arena of Valor, is things can get out of hand very quickly. The snowball potential, despite the fact that we know that Honor of Kings is a little bit slower of a game, specifically in that early game, it can get out of hand if both of these teams aren't careful.
Yeah, it definitely can get out of hand, especially if you have no kind of wave control, wave pressure. It's all about managing your waves, your rotation, and of course your ganks to set up plays, to take objectives, get kills, and make sure that you do not lose the lead if you have it, or try to get back into the game if you need to get back in.
All right, as we get ourselves loaded into the lobby and the pick ban started very shortly, we need to talk about that pick ban a little bit. For those of you that are familiar and have been caught up on the international scene for Arena of Valor, this is that international format with the 2-phase system. So there are a total of 4 bans, of course 5 picks per team, but that's split up. So it's a 2-pick, or sorry, it's a 2-ban, then it's a 3-pick, then it's another 2-ban, and then it's another 2-pick. We talked a little bit about this earlier, but let's remind everyone, Jeff, what does happen because of this new 2-phase system?
Yeah, this 2-phase system, they're going to look at the high priority picks, the 2 bans, and then the first pick there. Tiger is one of the assassin junglers that are going to be hotly contested because he's so strong in the early game. He's basically an ADC with range attack, turns into a Tiger form, and becomes a very nasty assassin in that early game, so he's going to be hotly contested. And we're also look at Yoko, or aka Ryoma from Arena of Valor, is also a very flexible pick that is normally picked in jungle as a warrior, and then gives the farm and feeds the ADC in the side lane.
And that's something that we're going to be doing as well for everyone out there watching quite often, is giving you those relational moments, giving you those relational terms, because we are well aware, as you are too, Honor of Kings is not as popular, of course, in the West because it is only on the Chinese client right now. So we're going to be making AOV references. We're going to be making these references from League of Legends to kind of help give you a better understanding of what you can expect to see today.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is, with the mage category, there are so many options for mid lane. There are still some powerful picks, though, with very oppressive early game mages like Chang'e, for example, and Shangguan. There are going to be two mages that I'm looking out for to see which team is going to pick up those, and that's going to be an exciting gameplay to watch as I explain to you how these mages are so good and so fun to play early game.
All right, well, it does look like all 10 players are loaded up, are in the lobby, which means that the ban and pick will be started very soon, and we will get into the Valley of Kings, and there are a lot of star players that we need to make sure that we're highlighting. Of course, we see a couple of them from the M8HEXA team on your screen right now, and you talked about the hurdle that they're going to have to face in something as powerful as the D team, but what sort of things are they going to have to pull out early, do you feel, to overcome such a Chinese juggernaut?
Yeah, if the team picks like Lan Ling, which is aka Batman Arena of Valor, that is played as in a support position, the main reason why is because he gives such great vision with his stealth. Can you imagine, right? And that's the reason why the vision is important, because it sets up ganks, sets up jungle invades, and once you kill somebody in that jungle or that side lane, it then opens up that side of the map, allowing you to take objectives and the enemy's jungle as well. So it's all about that early game here against the Chinese team, and they have to make sure they play careful and hold them off.
And
there's some good picks too. If they do pick Lang Lane, you can pick Dunshan. Kind of similar to Baldum in the game, but not really. But Dunshan is a really good protective support. So there are some good counter picks. So I'm looking forward to see what M8HEXA is going to do based on the draft that China pulls out.
Well, it's about that time to get ourselves underway. The pick ban phase has begun. We will find ourselves with M8HEXA on the blue. It'll be D Team on the red as they look to get their first set of bans underway.
Yeah, I am so excited, John. We are going to kick off the first Honor of Game. And Dunshan, we just talked about it. He's going to be banned. He is the support that offers a lot of zone control against his opponent. So Dunshan taking off just like that. So they might want to first pick Lang Ling potentially here if they're taking away Dunshan. So I expect Tiayi or Teamy from Arena Valor being a hotly contested pick as well, because he's been pretty meta. He's pretty flexible. And Zhang Fei, or aka Malik in Arena Valor, those are two very flexible supports that can be played. And there we go, Thane. This is Shang Yu, which is Thane being banned.
Yep.
Very interesting.
And Thane, hilariously enough, was a hero that we actually saw rise to fame a lot in Arena of Valor because of the pure support that he was able to have. And so when you look at his parallel on the Honor of King side, that creates a lot of lack of tank now, as it looks like, of course, another one of the strong supports gets taken away right off the table.
Yeah, he's
Preda.
actually effects. He can play Zhang Ziya is aka Preda in Arena Valor. He can play support or mid lane. The reason why he's always constantly picked or banned, because he gives their entire team-wide experience in his passive. So you would get level 4 before the enemy team does, and that's why he's picked or banned usually.
Well, already with two hard utilities taken away from D Team, M8HEXA is starting themselves off very strong as the final ban comes out.
Yeah, Bai Li is such a great jungler assassin there. He has these chain attacks that chain his opponents and can throw people towards him, and he's really good against squishies. So now, this is actually a very good open draft. I'm wondering if they're going to go for a support pick or they're going to take Tiger. Tiger is going to be the priority pick, I feel, for M8HEXA. Hopefully they know how to play him. And no, they're going to pick Pangu. They're going to go with a warrior jungle. Pangu does not need that much farm. He has a lot of abilities in his mix. So it's going to open up an ADC draft here with Pangu. And you see Hua Mulan's being highlighted along with Yukio. Yukio is another warrior jungler that if Pangu's taken, Yukio is going to be open up. That's Ryoma in Arena Valor. And there we go. You see Lubu being picked up. Lubu is Malik in the game, actually. So they picked Malik and Yukio, or aka Ryoma. That's a pretty solid draft here from Dteam.
And we mentioned it as well. Dteam wanted to ensure that they had the early game power. And when you take a look at the equivalence of something like a Ryoma and a Malik with their with Lubu and Yukio here in Honor and Kings, creates that early game power, but more importantly, the engage opportunities that Lubu will be able to create has all of the open doors potential for Dteam.
Yeah, and Lubu, as you know, aka Malik, is so tanky. He has such a huge AoE ultimate there that can do so much damage. And their Yugi is Joker in Arena of Valor, so they could potentially pick up Yuji here. And if they play her correctly, she can do a lot of poke in the side lane. But they're going to go with potentially, this is Gongsu or Umbrella Girl, we like to call her, and Pig. Pig is great in the side lane. He can also be flex support, but normally they play him in the top lane. So that's solid characters in all of their positions so far.
Creates the utility to stop the early game, and finally the third and final pick comes out for D-Team.
Yeah, that's Marco Polo, or aka Hayati in Arena of Valor. He is the strongest, I would say, ADC in the game, but he's a little weak early. So they got to make sure to take advantage of his weakness in the early game and try to pressure him. But you can see that's why they pick Yoko in jungle and Lubu in as support here, because Lubu and Yoko are very strong in early game and will give the space for Marco Polo to farm and get himself ahead.
And so now, with the first phase completed, it is time for the second wave of bans, as D-Team has already locked in their first with M8HEXA as the opposition.
Yeah, Gong Su Lin is so fun, or Umbrella Girl. She is so fun. Her nickname is the Magic Dancer, and you can see that when... I can't wait to talk about her playstyle here. Sun Bin is going to be banned here. That's Alice. Alice is being taken off the map. And then the mage, Chang'e, I talked about. She's the rabbit mage. Chang'e is going to be banned because she is very strong in the early game. And then Guegutsa, a support, an oppressive support that can put entire team in stealth, is going to be taken off the map as well. And then Dao Chan, that is actually L'Oreal in Arena of Valor. Dao Chan will be banned as well here. And now we have all the bans set. And now it's up to D-Team to pick their next. And they're going to probably pick a mage. And I think Shan Guan might be picked here because she offers so strong early game. But instead, they're going to go with Zhang Fei. I talked about Zhang Fei earlier. That's Crash. Crash in Arena of Valor. Or potentially Tai Yi, which is Teamy. Yep, and they're going to go with Tai Yi.
Tai Yi gets locked in now. And with the Malik and the Ryoma combination that you had at the very beginning, Tang Yi following suit as the 4 and 5 final picks coming out here for M8HEXA.
Yeah, that is such a solid draft from D-Team, though. You have Yoko, the combo. You have Lubu with his huge ultimate there. And you have Tai Yi there with the revive that can keep Marco Polo in the game. And also has AoE stun as well. And there's Shan Guan, the mage. It's the Ink Mage. You see how mobile she is when she unlocks her ultimate. She's great at diving towers, but you have to get ahead of your opponent with her there. She has such strong wave clear, and she should win the matchup in the early game here. But instead, they're going to go ahead with
10 seconds left.
The Fire Dancer, which is Raz. This is Raz here. They might go with Fire Dancer here as their mage, and then pick up Zhang Fei Crash. Oh, okay. Interesting pick here.
So they deny the Zhang Fei away from Cuckoo and the rest of the D-Team. Locking that one in. Now, final pick coming out for D-Team.
Yeah, so they're going to pick up the Fire Dancer, which is AK Raz. Raz is really good because he combos so well with Yoko. And the interesting thing is Chung Mengshi is picked here. You can see it's the left bottom orange hero cat looking. That's a mage known as Blasting Cat. I'll be very curious to see how they're going to leverage him, because I normally not as meta as the other heroes that were open, but maybe Malaysia, maybe M8HEXA has something up their sleeve.
They've got to find some way to throw off the power that D-Team has shown across the board. 5 seconds left in the checks and the swaps to make sure that the right heroes go into the right pockets. Now, you've seen the pick ban phase. You've seen where the locks begin. Where does your favor lie?
D-Team for sure. Their draft is pretty solid. It's so much synergy, so much combo potential.
So let's talk about that synergy a little bit more. What specifically do you feel is the strong suit as we do get ourselves loaded right into the game?
Yeah, I feel like the early game defense they have there, the combo and the follow-up, they're able to protect and also play very aggressive with Marco Polo. He's going to start spiking in the mid to late game. So if they get Marco Polo online, this game is pretty much over from M8HEXA. So let's see how they're going to respond.
All right, well, it's about that time we get ourselves into the delight that is the Valley of Kings as we get ourselves with round 1 between Dteam and China versus M8HEXA and Malaysia.
Yeah, you can see the aggression. They're going to look for some Pig. They're going to play support on the Pig here, looks like. Potentially, no, Pig is going to be top lane as expected. And that's going to be a really tough chance for him against Marco Polo in the range versus melee there.
Chris is able to get a little bit of damage as Fondi tries to make sure that he harasses onto Mike and Kwang, as they are going to do a little bit of harass and then move themselves over. A nice little blue steal is actually going to come out. Xiaoma's a little bit low, 30% HP, and Fondi tries to go a little bit too deep. He's got the teammates to try to follow up, and first blood immediately onto Xi'an as they're able to pick them up, and yet again, another kill. Kwang goes down. Luise tries to go in onto Mike, decides to disengage, and still a little bit of the bears. 2
deaths already. Malaysia had the right strategy. They wanted to invade because Pangu is so strong in the early game, but the rotation wasn't there, and how fast Dteam responded to collapse on Pangu. It basically came onto 3 versus 2. He gets low, and then Taiyi shows up with that stun. Fandi does a really good job with Taiyi getting that stun there and securing that kill.
2 kills now. 1 into Xiaoma, 1 into Yusei. Able to get themselves a solid start as they've already got them an 800 gold lead. As Yusei tries to get a little bit of poke damage off here early. 3 members now into the mid. Xiaomu tries to get a little bit up, but he decides to back off.
They gotta be careful. Do you see that combo there? You see the combo from the Fire Dance Mage and Yoko along with the Teamy. That's a lot of bursts, and they have to be super careful. And good job, M8HEXA, not getting caught out in that mid lane.
Does look like there's a gank onto the bottom side of the map. 2 members of M8H are over there. Mike in a rough spot, but thankfully he's able to dash over the wall correctly, as we do have a spawn coming from the...
And look at the mid river control here. Dteam has complete control of the Tyrant right now, and looks like they're going to hang around here and potentially take it with a 4-man rotation.
Yeah, and they've also got the level advantage as well, as Xiaomu, Yusei, and Cuckoo are all 3 level 4, which means that they have the Delight. That is our ultimates available. A little bit of damage, but in a rough situation for Mike, as he ends up falling down. Another kill going into the hands, this time into Xiaomu.
Little overextended there. I thought they should have just gave the Tyrant over and just traded against the top and slowed Marco Polo down. That's going to give them the Tyrant there because of that death. So really nice job by Dteam so far.
1,500 gold already into the pockets of Dteam, and that is quickly getting higher and higher as they're going to go back, replenish their health bars, but more importantly, get all of the items into their hands.
Yeah, one thing that they have a chance is when Pig is level 4 now. His ultimate is such a good zoning tool. He basically puts down that nice shovel that he's carrying, and it blocks off the pathway of the enemy opponent. So if he locks down Marco Polo or anyone within that shovel, his entire team can then collapse on them. And among Mengshi, the mage they have there is the Explosive Cat, can do so much burst damage from whoever's caught within Pig's ultimate.
And it's difficult as well because Xiaoma is in such a high level advantage, only sitting at about 50 or about 500 gold above him. He's not able to 1v1 in many of these situations. You can see him onto the bot side. It does look like Xi'an does want to help him onto that bot, but nothing's going to happen of it just yet. Multiple members lurking around the top side of the map as well, but instead Dteam decides to disengage and keep pressure in the mid lane.
Yeah, definitely complete map control, complete river control here. You can see they're rotating as 3, doing a very, very good job. And you can see Yoko giving a lot of vision on the bottom jungle. And right away, Fandi, he knows when to time his first ability there, scaring his way his opponents and protecting Cuckoo.
So now a little bit of a slower situation as very quickly we see Dteam with the advantage. Xiaomu does a little bit of damage onto Xi'an. He's forced to go away as Fandi and Yusei are lurking in the wayside.
Yeah, and you get a complete river control again. They're looking for the right ganks here. Looks like M8HEXA isn't really responding yet, which is a little fearsome for me because they're letting Cuckoo on Marco Polo just farm safely there. They need to respond and slow him down because late game, he is going to be oppressive. Look at the amount of damage he's already doing there.
Already moving Jun to about 50% HP. As he's going to have to be forced in farm from afar. The siege weapons are available as well. And look at this. Because they have so much pressure in the mid side, because they have so much of this gold advantage, they can come in, take the buffs without any worry of any sort of thing happening.
Yeah, you saw that rotation as well. The Cuckoo had control of top lane. He was out-poking them, getting them low. They then played defense on their tower. And their team in 3-man rotates to take the blue buff away from them and slowly one move by one move, one rotation by one rotation, D-Team is continuing to get the lead here, and eventually they're going to start to take a tower here. They need to set up to take a tower soon because it's already 5 minutes in the game.
Well, they did do a really good job at pushing the waves into the top side of the map because in 15 seconds, we've got the Tyrant that will be spawning. So as a result, they will then shift over to the mid lane, push themselves up into the mid lane, and then have that opportunity to rotate themselves down. But instead, just as I say that, it does like they're shifting 4 members towards the top. They want that tower, Sweet J.
Yeah, they definitely want to slow down June here on Gong Suli, the Umbrella Girl. If she gets fed as well, she can actually put a lot of damage towards Maripol. But look at that, just like that, the 4-man rotation is going to give them the first tier 1 tower.
Yeah, and not enough members are on the bottom side of the map to really help themselves out. So a Tyrant goes into the favor of M8HEXA, but still not a worthy trade.
Yeah, not a worthy trade, but still, at least they did a trade though, which is good. And I think that's smart to not risk trying to overly defend that tower and just trade there. But it's going to open up the complete control of that top map and jungle invade. And that's exactly what D-Team is doing now.
They have immediate knowledge of when the respawn timers are going to be happening on the blue buff. So with that top side opened up, gives them the chance to steal and denying the mana regeneration from everything of M8HEXA.
Yeah, one thing you guys see Yoko there, or AK Ryoma and Rena Valor, in Honor of Kings, he has 2 jumps. He has 2 jumps there, 2 pinwheels there that he can actually do a lot of mobility and a lot of nice engages and disengages against his opponents.
So again, they rotate themselves, steal all of the jungle on the top side, and now it's 4 members towards the bottom side of the map. They say, you know what, we took 1, now it's time to take the other. They've got multiple members there. A lot of damage is going to be able to come out. You have members across the board trying to get themselves down. Mike tries to see if he can transform to get a stun. It's not going to be enough. Nobody has gone down just yet. Xiaoma is able to Luke and there's the snipe from long range going down, as it does look like a double kill into the favor of D-Team, but more importantly, a tower to assist.
Just love how they juggle the aggro there. They were putting so much pressure on to Zhang Fei there, the Crash, and then he had to use his ultimate in a defensive posture, unfortunately, and then they were able to get him low, and then Lu Bu there, or Xiaoma on Lu Bu there, was just playing around with low health and dancing and juggling the aggro, and as a result getting 3 kills and the tower.
And you also had USA that was able, the long-range mage, she's a whopping 1,400 gold above her opposing mid laner and has absolutely demolished the competition, and those extra kills and assists in that last team fight certainly going to help her continue the snowball.
Yeah, that was massive there, and the rotation was so on point in terms of her setting up in the bush there, seeing the movement of the team, and is showing up just in time to support their tower siege. So very nice rotation and plays by D-Team. You can tell they're communicating very well right now.
So now we find ourselves at 8 minutes into the game, a 6,000 gold lead that is quickly developing for D-Team. They've got both the side lane turrets in their favor. You still have 75-80% HP left on the first tier mid lane, but it's not going to last too much longer. 30 seconds left remaining on the Tyrant, but more importantly, the Overlord is up and available.
It is up and available, and you can see what Yuko's doing. He's constantly invading jungle, giving his team so much vision, and Cuckoo is just safely farming. Now, both of them are level 11. And they are so ahead of their opponents right now. Another turret comes down, and now they have complete bot control.
More importantly, the bot control allows these minions to push up a little bit farther so they can have further control of the Overlord. Nothing is working out here for M8HEXA. They're trying to turtle, but these rotations and this surgical dissection of D-Team is certainly showing how they were able to dominate the regional finals.
Yeah, they're scared, and look at that. Oh!
And here we go. The next set of fights is being able to happen. An immediate desecration of the Xi'an. It's not going to be able to work out into his favor. Pangu, rather. Wrong name.
Yeah, Xiaoma did such a good job distracting the enemy opponent, ulting into the team, and they saw that he was open. They tried to get the kill on him, and guess what happened there? When you did that, Pangu was completely open, and they got the kill onto Xuan there. Pangu couldn't do anything, and as a result, Xiaomo secures the kill, and now he's level 12 and very ahead, and they're going to now set up for Tyrant.
They not only take themselves...
Overlord.
Yeah, they took themselves another... after that mid tower, they had a couple members rotate down. They're able to take the Tyrant successfully, and now it is posturing around the Overlord and making sure that they can get that extra pushing power with him available.
Yeah, this is very dangerous right now. M8 is down 7 deaths, and they're almost 10,000 gold deficit. That is not good. What they need to do here is try to anticipate the rotations of Dteam and get a gank. They have to get a kill, get a gank, and then take the Overlord. Otherwise, I don't see a way for them to get back into this game because they are dying a slow death right now, completely being off pressure.
And we find ourselves at the 10-minute mark, which means the Dark Tyrant is up and available. But you know what? Dream Team, they don't care about that right now. It's all about the Overlord, and look at the damage coming out of Cuckoo.
Yeah, 1,000 crits there. He is definitely getting fed up. And look at how much damage each of those auto attacks do there. And just like that, they take the Overlord, and now they have 3 dragons will spawn in each lane, and it's going to allow them to put pressure on all 3 parts of the map.
Lots of poke damage coming out of Yusei there as he's immediate. One auto attack chunks Guang down 25% HP, absolutely demolishing as they're trying to salvage some of their jungle, but D-Team says, those bears are ours.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see the Overlord Vanguard has joined the fray, and those 3 Vanguards will spawn and move quickly down the lane, and this is their chance to take more towers. Oh, the ultimate was used by Pig there, but it missed the target, unfortunately. And that means he will not have the ultimate for this next fight, which is absolutely critical for M8.
Doesn't have the ability to separate, which means they have to back off, and the tier 1 mid turret immediately becomes theirs. A little bit of zoning coming out of Cuckoo, but instead they're just going to continue to push. The Vanguard going to take all the damage, and the tier 2 tower gets immediately destroyed.
Yeah, immediate destroyed here. And honestly, M8, they just have to combo their abilities. They have to wait until the Pig has the ultimate back up again, and they have to make a play here, because right now, they're being out-pressured in every single lane. They're not trying to catch anyone out. And if you don't do that, you cannot get back in this game.
I mean, they're down 10,000 gold as well. M8 kind of struggling in this current game 1. The Vanguard not even able to go down as Xi'an isn't able to do anything. Again, Vanguard takes a little bit. You have a little bit with ST Young trying to have it, but a killing spree for Yusei is able to continue the oppression here for DT.
Yeah, ST overextending there. Uses his ultimate to block off their path, but doesn't block it off completely. And then use ability to jump up in there, even with his barrier. He's too weak. He's level 12 facing level 15s and 14. So a little interesting decision making by ST there.
Xiaoma holding down the fort for the rest of their team. They've already taken 5 turrets as Cuckoo tries to get to have it. There's the engage onto things.
Wow.
A rampage for USA as D-Team takes the high ground tower in the mid lane, and they're pushing on. This could be the end of the game. You're having everything.
Indeed.
M8 trying to stop what they can, but it's not going to be enough. A killing spree, a rampage. D-Team has demolished. More importantly, the core goes down. An explosion occurs in game number 1 to D-Team.
Yeah, what a fantastic play there. Look at their macro play, their rotations, the shot calling, the communication. They're moving as one whole unit. And Yusa, you saw get that kill there. The combo from this team, from Xiaoma, that ultimate from Lubu, followed with the dive from Yusa, secured the kill into Pangu immediately. And you look at that, he has 3 deaths. And if your jungler is dying that often, it's hard to try to make a comeback.
We got to take a look at the scoreboard on our screen. You guys weren't able to see it, but at the end of that game, Yusei, 10,000 gold in just his own pockets.
Yeah, Yusei did such a good job there.
So now game 1 has concluded. Game number 2 will be coming up in just a second. They will find themselves having to figure something out as the sides will swap. M8 has a chance to go on the red side and have that rebuttal, but more importantly, are they going to be able to stop the rotations? Because it was a surgical dissection, as I mentioned, and will reiterate for D-Team.
The biggest mistake was around when the Tyrant spawned there. You saw the rotation, complete river control from D-Team. They rotate 4-man onto the Tyrant, and then Pangu, right? He was kind of out of position. Their jungler was out of position, and he tried to over-aggress, try to fight back, but his team was not with him to engage, and they kill Pangu, and they take the first Tyrant, and just things just went downhill from there. So I feel like Team M8, they need to make sure that they're decisive. If you're going to defend the Tyrant, then everyone needs to defend the Tyrant, or you're going to trade. And they need to make the decision in that heat of the moment. Otherwise, they're going to continue to get caught out.
And it just kind of shows the minuscule improvements, but more importantly, the minuscule movements that D-Team was able to making. The timer on the blue buff that they were able to have denied that many more jungle resources. And in a game that is so much focused on early game farming, such as Honor of Kings, if you're not tracking your buffs, if you're not making sure that you get those and you get that experience in gold, you're going to find yourself in a rough spot.
And that was a key difference as well. I just felt like they knew all of the rotation timers for every objective in the game. The Tyrant, the blue buff, the enemy red buff, and the way that they're invading, and they know where the map pressure is for them, and they just push onto that spot. From top lane pressure, you saw Marco Polo put so much pressure on their tower, then they rotate as 4, take the tower, and then invade the jungle. I mean, it is just like surgical precision, the strategy that they're playing here.
So now, Sweet J, we have to close. We have to close the chapter for game number 1, open the chapter here for game number 2, and we have to ask ourselves, with such a macro prowess that D-Team has, what can M8 do in the early game to make sure that this stabbing, this bleeding doesn't happen again?
Yeah, I think in the early game, if you have someone like Pangu who's strong, you need to commit and be decisive against your opponents. And if you don't want to be decisive, then you need to trade. And I felt like they need to play around that Tyrant a little better. They just need to anticipate the movement of the team, because if your opponent has map control before the Tyrant spawns, guess where they're going to be? Probably the Tyrant. So go ahead and trade other side of the map.
Your analysis is overwhelming. I just can't handle it now.
It's just teams forget that all the time, and they try to salvage a lost cause when your opponent has map control on the river, and they're rotating 4-man, and there's 3-man protecting against you're not going to be able to protect the Tyrant, so you need to not play into their win condition, their setup rotation there for that Tyrant.
So now let's take a step backwards again and talk a little bit about the pick ban phase. Did M8 fall apart before the game even began?
I think they did pretty well with Pig, Gong Sun Lee, or Umbrella Girl. I thought that they had a few good picks, but honestly, D-Team's draft has so much synergy. I think they definitely won draft because you saw the combos coming out from a Fire Dancer, the mage there, Raz jumping in there and doing so much combo damage, followed with the ultimate from Lubu, that huge AoE stun, and then the rest of the team just follows through. And then also Yoko, he has such a long-range stun as well. So I feel like D-Team definitely knew their competition and played it to its win condition.
And I think it was a recognition of the early game aggression that they had at their disposal with Yukio and Lubu. When you have those, again, AoV equivalents of a Ryoma and a Malik on your team, you know that especially once the level 4 is hit, there's going to be a difficulty, and M8 needs to recognize this and ensure that they don't put themselves in rough situations before something like that occurs.
Yeah, definitely agree there. And honestly, they didn't put any pressure against Marco Polo in top lane. Pig is he has so much sustain. That's why he's constantly being picked in at top lane, but they needed to leverage him and to capture and put pressure onto Marco Polo, because if they can slow Marco Polo down, then they have a chance to not let him scale, but they didn't touch him at all. And you guys saw Yoko, Marco Polo, they reached level 12, while M8's team mostly was level 10 and lower.
Is there a pick that M8 can find a way to create in this next pick ban phase that could set them apart and potentially have an advantage against D-Team?
I would love for them to play what they're comfortable with, and I feel like DRNG should have been picked. That's Valheim. DRNG has a very good similar build to AoV with his attack speed, his slows, his stun that he has in his kit. He's actually pretty good and can hold his own against a lot of ADCs there. So I feel like they maybe should have picked DRNG and be able to turn around the lane pressure game, because honestly they did not put any pressure on any lane in the game, and if you don't put any pressure anywhere, you're going to keep falling behind.
All right, well, it's about that time to get ourselves underway. Game number 2, and the ban pick has begun. It looks like M8 has actually opted to decide to go here with the blue side again. D-Team taking up the red. And more importantly, where will they begin with this ban phase? They did Dunshan at the very beginning of their pick ban in game number 1, and it looks like they instead go with the Preda, as we love to call it, here in game 2.
They banned Zhang Ziya last game, and now they banned Zhang Ziya again. Again, this is a mage, or can play support, that basically lets your team get level 4 before everyone else does, because of his passive. Shang Yu is banned again. Thane, the reason why he's banned is because he's actually really good. He can play support or side.
Really? Is that why you ban things? Because they're really good?
Yeah, exactly. But he's really good because compared to Thane in Arena of Valor, Shang Yu, when he uses his second ability, he actually decreases the target's damage output by 50% or more. So that's actually significant. So you actually decrease the damage output of your enemy team when you dive in there. You charge in there and use your skill 2 ability.
Second ban coming out here for M8HEXA, as it looks like they want to take that off the board again, and D-Team with immediate quick response.
Oh, look at D-Team. They're actually going to and ban Yoko and leave. Oh, the Lubu open. They're going to actually first pick Lubu and not give it to D-Team, where D-Team played the Lubu. Xiaoma played the Lubu so well.
That was the first pick for D-Team in game number 1, potentially denying that, locked in for game number 2, as now the 60-second timer for the 1-2 on the red side for D-Team.
Yeah, definitely here. Let's see. And Dunshan was banned in the last game, and he's going to be picked up as a support. Oh, I can't wait to explain how this hero works for you guys here. He has a nice charge engage, and he puts up this huge shield. And then if the opponent touches this shield, they actually bounce back. And he can actually lock people against the wall or against their tower, against the side of the tower. So they're gonna go ahead and pick up Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu is actually very strong. And it gives a lot of play potential and pressure in the side lane there. So let's see what the M8 is going to respond with.
Taking their time, already 30 seconds have passed. You can see the conversations happening. Something's going to have to give. In game number 1 could potentially turn this a 2-0 and come out ahead with a very solid win in their first game here in round number 1 of the group stage.
Yeah, the reason why Sun Tzu is so good is 2 of his abilities. His first ability, Hurricane, and his ultimate, Long Sail, actually has knock-up effect. So his ultimate lets him travel. He jumps on a boat and literally travels across the map and can throw the boat at a person and do a lot of CC against them. And Nakoruru is picked. That is Kirkneck from Arena of Valor. And then the Cow Demon himself is also picked, which is also known as Lumber in Arena of Valor. So they're playing a lot of their comfort picks, and I like this draft from M8. Play what you know, and you perform it a lot better.
And you have the scaling, but more importantly, the crowd control. With Cal Demon and Lubu, it has that great opportunity with the stacking combos. We saw it in Arena of Valor. The Malik ultimate into the Lumber ultimate creates that chain CC. When you have that with a late game in June's Crickneck here, big things are going to happen.
Interesting, they banned Chun Mengshi here, because I honestly didn't see this mage make that big of an impact.
And Marco Polo again.
Yeah, Marco Polo again is being picked, which is actually great because Dunshan is a very strong early game support. He can actually fend off a lot of invades, and actually it's very dangerous to invade a team with Dunshan, because if you invade and he catches you in a narrow corridor, he can turn that shield on and trap you and get a kill on you easily. So that's why Dunshan is picked for an ADC that needs to scale more into the late game. Lao Futsa is banned. That is Omen in Arena of Valor. So that's interesting that they decided to ban him, because he was not touched in the last game at all.
Final bans, of course, coming out here. D-Team picks their 4th and final ban, as now it flops over to M8HEXA. And what are they going to deny here away from D-Team before the second phase begins?
Yeah, and they ban Wang Zhaojun, which is aka Dao Chan in Arena of Valor. She's actually very strong. Ice and Snow Mage here. Very, very strong in Honor of Kings. And interesting that they banned her this game. So a lot of the options that we saw from the last game, they're open to pick up here. So let's see if they're gonna switch things up.
Final ban comes out for M8HEXA, which means an immediate looks to be hover there by Cuckoo.
Yeah, they banned Cao Cao, which is aka Lubu in Arena of Valor. He has lots of knockup and a lot of sustain and lifesteal in his kit. So interesting that he's banned as well, because they completely have changed their strategy. So this could Guan Yu is going to be highlighted here. Guan Yu is Superman in Arena of Valor, and you know how powerful Superman is in Arena of Valor. And if they can play a great Guan Yu, he can make a lot of plays. And this is going to be Crixie in Arena of Valor. That mage is Crixie, so I wonder if they will be able to combo the abilities well here. And that's Xiao Qiao is Crixie there. Xiao Qiao is going to be picked up. So it's a lot of good combos. You have the Cow Demon ultimate, which is the Earth, the Landslide, the knockup. You have Xiao Qiao's knockup as well. You have Guan Yu's CC ability. You have Lu Bu's ultimate, and then you have Nakoruru, which is aka Crickneck. So that's actually a very solid composition.
Final pick coming out.
Oh, Shan Guan. I can't wait. The Ink Mage. This is going to be so fun. You have to see her ability to dive under towers and do a lot of damage and basically win the early game against Xiao Qiao here. And the other opponent was picked here, Mi Yue. Mi Yue is that top here on Xiao Ma. He's going to be playing side lane. Mi Yue is Marja in Arena of Valor. Lots of sustain, a lot of poke as a range mage here in this game.
Final 10 seconds as players get their final swaps changed to the final talents that they want to be able to bring to the table. As now we get ourselves loaded into the Valley of Kings for game number 2. As we mentioned, D-Team walked away with a very convincing win in game number 1. And the Malaysian team and M8HEXA are going to have to do a lot of power if they want to stop them. And it all rests me in the mid lane because Guang is going to have a huge, tall task as WCG did a great job in game number 1.
Yeah, and you gotta, I'm definitely going to keep an eye on Xiao again, Xiao Mo, because he's playing Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu, the reason why he's so good is his second ability, Cooling Waves. He can use it 3 times, and each time he uses it, it can reset his auto attack. So he can dish out a ton of damage in just a few seconds of the engage here.
Fun.
And there, that's Dun Shan, the support there. You gotta watch for his shield once he turns level 2, or if he put that ability in now. We'll see.
Fine, he does take a little bit of damage, but you did have Mike and Guang there to kind of help themselves out. Xiaomu roaming around across the top side of the map. Fande takes a little bit of damage too far, but he does flip back. WCG is able still to do a little bit of damage. Fande tries to get something, but Xiaomu's there to help them, make sure that the push doesn't happen too much. WCG gets a knockdown, gets a little bit of damage, but it's not going to be enough to get the kill.
Nice job here. M8 is putting more pressure in the mid lane against D-Team, which is looking pretty solid so far, because you said he wants Shan Guang. He wants to play Shan Guang to get ahead, because she's really good when you are ahead. If you fall behind, then Shan Guang is a lot harder to play.
So, a little bit of a slower early game as we didn't have a very quick death like what we saw in game number 1. So already looking a lot better for M8HEXA. As remember, they are on the blue side. You do have 3 members on that bottom side of the map for them. And it looks like an immediate rotation of Fande to ensure that they do have that river control in the mid lane. He hangs out in the bush, lots of damage, but Xiaoma's going to get out safely. Lots of mobility available on him.
Yeah, definitely an awesome mid. And the one thing about Guan Yu, which is the horse character, Xi'an is playing Guan Yu there on top. Guan Yu actually does really good job against ADC side lane because he can easily use his kit, his passive, to charge up to them and put them in a very bad spot to then get ganked and killed.
A little bit of damage there as ST Young places on a Xiaoma, but 3 members are waiting in the wayside. Thankfully, they're able to back off because what happens when D-Team gets going? Objectives become their focus as they immediately are hovering around this Tyrant.
Yeah, you can see every single time they have complete river control. And look at that, they're exerting that control to then potentially take this Tyrant here, but looks like M8HEXA is not going to give them that chance to take the Tyrant.
Oh, but it doesn't matter because it looks like Fande tries to go in and get a little bit of damage. Guang's going to try to have something, and you say bounce, 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 invincibility, and the kill as he's able to get first blood.
Yeah, you say again, doing such a good job there, engaging and focusing on his target opponent there. And as a result of that slight mispositioning by Guang there, being too aggressive, it gets caught out.
And what happens again? They get themselves a kill and a timing onto the blue buff, denying that away from the mid lane, and Guang continues to struggle.
Yeah, so M8's got to keep an eye on that timer now. They know that D-Team is going to have that timer set, so they're going to try to make the same play and the same invade again to take that jungle.
Fande flips Mike backwards immediately, and Yusei again with the damage. And Yusei has been on a tear thus far as that kill.
That's why he's similar to Baldom there. That charge flips you over in a bad position, and you're caught.
And what does that mean now? They're able to also get themselves the Tyrant. ST Young is forced to ult out onto the bot side. Xiaoma tries to steal it away and says, you know what, you can't do anything. Can't hang out with me. I'm mine.
Yeah, you can see the nice job that they're doing, putting so much, again, lane pressure in every single part of the map there. And I feel like M8 needs to take advantage whenever Guan Yu gets that lane pressure lead against Cuckoo here and on that Marco Polo.
Cuckoo's been left alone to farm on this Marco Polo, is already sitting at 2.3k gold to 1.9 of Xi'an. So already keeping himself up a lead. 1,700 gold for them as they're going to rotate themselves towards the top side of the map and see if they can get themselves a multi-gank. Fende, he wants to go in, but instead they're going to get the tower.
What a nice rotation. Again, a 4-man rotation. This is what they are known to do. You got to look out around the 3 to 4 minute mark. And look, they do it right when the spawn timer is doing as well. That is such amazing timing by D-Team.
Jun actually ends up using that Lumber ultimate to try to see if he can fend them off, but when multiple members are there, there's nothing. There's 4 players of D-Team hanging out by the blue statue. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah, there's definitely nothing they can do. That rotation is so clean, so tight. They take the tower, and then boom, the blue buff spawns, the jungle spawns, and look at Mi Yue or Xiao Ma there on Mi Yue. He's just having fun and zoning out basically 1 versus 2 right now in bot lane and doing a really good job out pressuring them.
And Xiao Ma, the damage that he's been able to have by himself, taking that tower down to 50% HP. Yusei wants to try to sit himself and go in. A little bit of damage. A knockup from Mike is not going to land. Xuan's there. He's trying to see if he can have it, but there's too much mobility. A flicker over the wall coming out of Yusei, and he's going to keep himself safe. His teammate's there. And
wow.
Xi'an, he's caught between a rock, a hard place, and a grave site as he ends up going down.
Yeah, but honestly, at least he got a kill, which is what they need. But another kill there from Xiao Mo. That's the player to watch here, able to get that kill onto Xiao Kao.
They get the trade onto Yusei, but instead ST Young is have to force a try to see if he can clear the wave. Jun finds himself in a rough spot as well as Xiao Ma is able to pick up that kill. They're going to try to see if they can get a little bit of dive on a Mike. He has to be flickering away. ST Young tries to get something done on the Malik, but it won't be enough. A tower goes down. He's going to end up falling as well. Xiao Ma is able to pick themselves that up.
Yeah.
33 seconds, and just like that, D-Team continues to snowball.
Yeah, that was huge, that rotation, how fast they decided and put pressure there to kill ST, put him out of and Jun then falls. And look, another kill under tower. This is why, you got to be very careful as a mage there. You're so squishy, and Shangguan love to get in there and dive on the towers.
Yusei's able to get another one. Tier 2 tower goes down as Xiao Ma is sitting at 4.4 thousand gold at the 6-minute mark. And just like what we saw last game, D-Team has started to begin the dissection. They've got the scalpel, and they're slowly bringing it around the heart, and they're ready to rip it out of M8HEXA.
Yeah, you can see Cuckoo and Marco Polo is already level 10 versus his opponents, only level 8. And Nakaruru on Jun is not getting that much farm. You can see 2.9k gold versus his opponent sitting at 5.1 thousand gold.
And just to look at what you see from the XP advantage as well, Mike is sitting at level 6. The lowest member is Yusei and Fandi for D-Team. They're sitting at level 9. That's 3 levels behind. That is not an experienced position that you want to find yourself in.
Yeah, definitely not an experienced position that you can find yourself in. But look at this rotation there. 4-man rotation again on top. They do such a good job setting themselves up to put lane pressure. Look at that. Look at that. The tower's gone with these 2 siege minions.
Cuckoo's auto attacks are decimating the towers as quickly as they begin, as they're able to get themselves now the tier 2 tower in the top and the bot side, and it looks like the mid is next on the menu.
Yeah, look at that. They're constantly taking the jungle. Their gold lead is building and building, 24,000 almost to 17,000 against M8, and they're not able to respond to anything. There's no combos, and they're not going to respond and try to get back in this game.
It's just the starving out of resources, but more importantly, the starving out of HP. As Fondi's able to take themselves back, they try to get themselves in a team fight to salvage something. One member goes down, but Cuckoo is left in the back, auto attack with Xiao Ma, and he's able to have it. A double kill actually go coming out for them.
Oh.
And look, the turnaround of M8, but Xiao Ma still left alive, bounces back, tries to get something. A rampage now for her as the other 2 members are forced to walk away.
They got to be careful because Mi Yue has so much sustain there, but what a nice job with that combo. Just as I talked about, M8 pulls it out. They get the massive Cow Demon landslide ultimate. Guan Yu did such a good, Xuan and Guan Yu did such a good job displacing them and getting the kills onto their targets and getting 4 kills just like that. And look at that, it puts them a little bit back into the game.
And it's a great opportunity as well because M8 was able to do this when the tower was still up. Those extra tower ticks created all the opportunity for them. Now, we're sitting at 8.5 minutes into the game, still a 7,000 gold lead for D-Team, and more importantly, the Overlord is up and available for them.
Yeah, that's the beautiful part about MOBAs. Teamwork can make that dream work. And I said, they have a good comp. They can combo so well. The knockoff from Cow Demon, the knockoff from Xiao Chao, right? Lu Bu's ultimate. And look at this, though. D-Team's going to rush the Overlord and get it.
They didn't care. The Overlord immediately gets defeated. There is no form of rebuttal available from M8, as now they're at have to force to sit onto the bottom side of the map. 38 seconds left remaining for it looks to be the Tyrant, and 60 seconds left until the Dark Tyrant does come out.
Yeah, definitely here. They're going to spawn those Overlord Vanguard, just going to put so much pressure on all 3 lanes here. But again, M8 still has a chance. If they can execute that combo and get a high-value target like Shangguan or Xiao Mo, but definitely their target is actually Cuckoo. If they can get at least 1 or 2 targets in that huge, massive AoE stuns combo, they have a chance to stay in this game.
But they have to find a way to get scaling further onto Guang. He's sitting at 1,700 gold behind Yusei, and it's 2 levels as well. So they need that mage damage available for them, or things are going to be difficult. 9.5 minutes, the Tyrant is up.
Oh,
they don't want to go for it just yet. And look, the Vanguards have started coming down, and this is where the pressure starts happening for D-Team.
Yeah, you can see, oh, the
tries
tries
to get into the engage. The Malik ultimate is not going to be enough. They disengage immediately and allow the Vanguards to have something. Zon goes in, but he's not able to land it just now. You got a couple triple knockups able to happen, but still, difficulties aplenty as now the D-Team decimates their opponent.
Yeah,
the Vanguard, as well as it comes down. The high ground in the top, the high ground in the mid, and all seems lost for M8.
Yeah, the assist and the decisiveness. Cuckoo was just in the back doing so much damage there.
Tries to see if they can have it. Marco Polo able to get themselves off. The Tyrants are there. They're going to do the damage onto the core. Xi'an's going to try to see if he can have it on a Cuckoo. Cuckoo's able to flicker over the wall to have it. And just like that, the tower aggro is there. There aren't any members of MH alive. And the 2-0 sweep happens for Dream Team as they're able to come in, do the damage, flex the muscles, and prove why they came out of the regional finals as a champion.
Yeah, they definitely did. And they continue that 2-0 streak that they were known for leading up to qualify for WCG. And they have given us a show, the first winner for Honor of Kings here at WCG, representing China. They must feel really good right now. And M8, they got to lick their wounds. They're still in a group stage. They still have a chance. But they have a lot to learn from that game.
Well, they have a lot to learn, and they're going to have to make their adjustments quick because our match number 2 will be M8 going up against V-Star, one of our invited teams. So if you think that that Dream Team is scary, V-Star is going to be bringing a lot to the table as it looks like they're going to come across, they're going to shake hands, but more importantly, Dream Team, what a way to start out your group stage.
Yeah, it was such a fun time watching D-Team. You saw how surgical they were. The timing, river control, objective control, gank, 4-man rotation to top. They did it every single time. Got a tower within the 4 or 5 minute mark, and then start taking the jungle slowly, invade jungle, take more creep, take both jungles, and constantly put so much wave and lane pressure across their whole map.
All right, well, as we find ourselves in the end of our first match of the day, Dream Team has shown what happens when you're able to get that early advantage, when you're able to get those moments where you can have those rotations. And Dream Team, again, I keep saying it, and surgical is a word that I thoroughly enjoy using, but it was that instance because Dream Team, every single moment they had was with a purpose.
Yeah, definitely a purpose, and they got to be careful with how Dream Team is putting so much pressure because M8, they can learn from that. All they need to do is send 3 people to defend properly and not get caught out. 3 people in a tower can defend against 4 because that's 4 and 4 basically with the tower. And then the other 2, they need to then gank or put pressure and push the other lane so that D-Team cannot constantly put pressure there. The reason why they kept falling suspect to all these rotations is because D-Team have complete river and map control. If you have control in all 3 lanes, then they don't have to respond to you. They are dictating literally the flow of the game, and M8 just slowly died by playing so passive and not trying to get these picks.
And it was death by starvation as well because there wasn't any jungle. There were barely any creeps that they were able to get. And M8, they just kind of stood there and allowed D-Team to keep having it. They had a great effort on the tier 2 in the mid lane, specifically because of a couple hero synergies, but it's not going to be enough against these juggernauts of some of these Chinese teams.
Yeah, you can see though when there's some signs of life for MH though. They had a really nice combo, getting 4 kills, right? They had the Cow Demon Landslide ultimate. They had Lubu follow up. They had Xiao Chao come in there as well and do so much damage. Xiao Chao is Crixie, by the way. And then Nakaru came in and secured the kills on the backline. That's exactly how you want to play that comp. So they understood and knew that comp. It's just I wish they executed a lot more versus D-Team here.
Well, they're going to have some time to reset. They're going to have an opportunity to figure out a way to lick their wounds, throw some bandages on because it's time to get back into the battle with V-Star coming up. And like we mentioned, V-Star, one of the 2 invited teams alongside AGY, and they have certainly been showing scary things across the Chinese circuit and are looking to take home the title for their country and get that gold medal, but more importantly, the $80,000 of that 140K prize pool.
Yeah, definitely a huge amount of prize pool, and they're the invited team, so you know they didn't get to the qualifier. But let's go ahead and check out some of the highlights from the series that we just saw earlier, and I can't wait to see the combos and everything that both teams played.
Yep.